Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, please. So anyway, I've been asked a lot about whether I should get an electric car for Uber and Lyft, by the way. Uber or Lyft, whichever one you'd prefer. Um, there are Facebook groups out there for Uber and Lyft drivers if you're considering it. That will give you a lot of support, a lot of feedback. Some of it's a lot of negativity, so you're always going to have them. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, how to decide whether you want to get an electric car to do Uber. Now this is March 22nd, March 2022. We are 2 years into COVID. Now the gas went up 30 cents in 1 week. Okay, I'm not complaining because I got a hybrid right now and it's pretty good on gas for an SUV. It's a Toyota RAV4 hybrid. I'm not trying to promote it or anything. I'm just saying that it's pretty good on gas for an Uber car. So you have to take in mind how much this costs. How many miles are you going to be doing every day? Are you willing to give up 20 to 30 minutes to pull over and charge up the car? So a lot of the cheaper, not cheaper, but less expensive electric cars are like 30 to 40 grand right now. I've looked into this because, you know, here in the DC metro area, the gas is probably like $3.95 right now. It was $3.65 at the beginning of this week. It went up 30 cents because of the war. And so it's a little crazy right now. So more and more people are considering electric cars. For Uber drivers, you know, we have to keep in mind how many miles are we driving every year? These are the things you want to consider. How many miles are you driving every year? Okay, how much is the car? How long is this car going to last? Is this car going to last 8 to 10 years? Is it going to last 5 years? How much money are you making in a year doing these side gigs? You know, for example, let me give 2 scenarios here for this. Just so you know, they are trying to work on making cheaper electric cars, which would be really nice, especially for Uber drivers. Because most people that are doing Uber were in school. We're trying to get these college loans. This is how I started. I started paying off college loans, and then it just kept going. So it helped, that kind of thing. We're not super wealthy people, or we wouldn't be doing this, okay? I know I wouldn't anyway. So, okay, so for instance, let's say, for instance, I'm making 45 a year doing all, this includes all of them, okay, not just Uber, but let's say we're doing 45 a year driving people around, doing food deliveries, anything that requires the car. 45 a year, okay, so the car that I'm considering buying is pretty good on gas, and it would be like 33 a year. Okay, it's on average. I'm making 45 a year doing these side gigs. The car is 33,000. How long is the car going to last? Okay, I'm putting approximately 60,000 miles a year on the car. So the car, you know, all these cars are going to go down in value, okay, because you're wearing them out. You're being a road warrior. The car might, I mean, I know from my Toyotas and Hondas, they last well over 300,000. So they'll last at least 5 years. So I'll get a good 5 years out of that. So I'm making 45 a year, 5 years. I'm only spending 33,000 on the car. You know, that's pretty not bad. I do know, I have met some Uber drivers that have spent like 20,000 on a car. Pretty good, like Hyundai or Kia, you know, those things that last pretty good. And they're doing it full time. They're driving 10 to 12 hours a day, making 80 grand a year. Now I'm guessing those cars probably last 250 to 300 too. I don't know. I personally never had a Kia or a Hyundai, but somebody that might know can comment below and let us know. So those cars, okay, let's say they're working full time. They're making $80,000 a year. Those cars last a good 4 years. You know, they're driving. They might be driving 120 a year because they're. I mean, I'm doing it part time and I'm doing 60 a year. If they're doing full time, they might be doing 120 a year. So those cars might only last 3 years. So you have to just, and they're only spending 20 grand. So that, that might be worth it too. Now let's talk about the Tesla thing here. Okay, the Teslas are the smaller ones. Not even the top of the line is 50. So the smaller electric cars may work. I just never had one. So I don't know how long they last. That's the thing you have to think about. You also got to think about they only stay charged 250 to 300 miles, and then you got to stop and charge them. So it's like if I'm on the road 4 to 6 hours, and I usually only drive 250 to 350 miles. I mean, it might be less than that, I'm not sure, but it would be enough, I think, for me. But if you're doing it full time, I guess it could be a lunch break. You could stop for 20 to 30 minutes and charge the thing up. Those are things you got to think about because you're going to lose money if you're doing that. So, if you're willing to take a break for 20 to 30 minutes and stop and charge the car up every 3 to 4 hours, because that's what you're going to do. Now, the Tesla may last longer because I think it goes to 400. Now, feel free to comment below on any of this stuff because I don't have all the answers to this. These are just things that I consider when buying an electric car for Ubering, which right now I'm not going to do it. First of all, even the smaller Tesla for 50 grand, it just wouldn't make sense in my case because most of my passengers, sometimes I'll have 3 and 4 big people in the car, and they all have suitcases and stuff, and I just can't see that fitting in the smaller Tesla. Even the smaller electric ones, I don't know that it would work. Now all my people aren't that big and have that much stuff, but when it happens, I like to be able to fit everybody in the car. And you're also going to have some wear and tear. Do you want to spend 50 grand on a nice little Tesla and then have people messing it all up? I mean, it might be good as a second car if you can do more than one car, but I only got one, and if I'm using it for Uber, I don't want it destroyed. So anyway, comment below if you have any comments on any of this stuff. This is a big discussion in a lot of our Facebook groups on Uber and Lyft. Not that I have time to sit and look through all of them, but it comes up every other week or so. People are like, well, I just got a new Tesla to drive for Uber, but I spent, these are the $120,000 cars. I mean, it may be worth it. I mean, you're making 80 a year. I just don't know how long they last. I mean, are they lasting 8 years? It may be worth 120. I mean, you're making 80 a year. The bigger ones. I don't know how much luggage you can fit in them bigger ones. So if anybody knows any of this stuff, feel free to comment because I don't have all the answers. It's just a constant conversation that comes up, mainly because the gas prices keep going up. So anyway, thank you for watching, and please subscribe and like.